Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Mike Gallagher. I'm a sales and marketing manager with the Emerging Industry Professionals. We're the folks that are hosting this conference, and I appreciate you taking time out of your day to come to my presentation. The presentation today is on emerging frontiers, and it's about implementing modern marketing strategies in these emerging industries. Specifically today, we're going to focus on the cannabis market. No, that's just a table of contents. I'm not going to go through all that and bore you to death before we even get started. About EIA and EIP. This is a quote from the Emerging Industrial Association. That is Gavin Seaver. And the quote just says, "The world moves faster than ever. And as a business, it can be hard to keep up, let alone be seen." And I think we all know how true that is. About EIA and EIP, the Emerging Industry Association. It's essentially a nonprofit that's just dedicated to helping companies with resources, directory listings, and just helping folks connect with one another within these emerging industries. The association really focuses on cannabis, green technologies, fintech, and medical tech. And EIP, which is who I work for, what we do is essentially we're a B2B marketing firm. We help companies with a comprehensive marketing plan to reach into these emerging verticals so they can gather an audience, find their customer base, so on and so forth. And we do everything from run trade shows to web development. We have in-house developers. We can build websites from the ground up and create a comprehensive marketing plan around that. And what we're going to talk about today is some strategies regarding inbound and outbound marketing and how to capture some of those leads. What is an emerging industry? Well, according to Investopedia, an emerging industry is a group of companies in a line of businesses formed around a new product or idea that is in the early stages of development. There's a few characteristics. Number one, there's fewer companies. That's why I think a lot of folks get involved. Less initial competition. Plus, being one of the early adopters, you tend to reap the largest rewards. It's always centered around new tech or products. Like in this case, the product's not so new, but the technology and the fact that it's legal is fairly new within the last decade and a half or so. And it's typically an unproven industry, one where no one's really laid out the groundwork. There's not a whole lot of direction. You're kind of out there trying to figure things out as you go. The importance of marketing in an emerging industry. Now that we've defined the emerging industries and their characteristics, the next step is to put together a marketing strategy that will put your products or services in front of you of your new target audience. Marketing is not a one-size-fits-all scenario, and some strategies you have previously used may not serve you in an emerging industry. And I think a lot of us have found this is true, especially within the cannabis space. It's hard to advertise. A lot of the traditional Google AdWords, any sort of web marketing is a real challenge because there's a lot of barriers to entry that are thrown up in front of you. But there are ways that you can work within those rules to get your product out there, to market into those verticals and to reach the customers that you're trying to reach. So what we're going to cover today is some inbound marketing strategy and resources, outbound marketing resources and strategies, and why you should team with an agency. What is inbound marketing? Inbound marketing is a business methodology that attracts customers by creating valuable content and experiences tailored to them. So essentially what that means is inbound marketing is the method of growing your business through the development of meaningful relationships with your current and potential clients. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to reach out there and get your message out there and have people contact you about your services or products. Here are some examples of inbound marketing. Blogs or relevant content, search engine optimized site content, social media campaigns, white papers, ebooks, webinars, inbound sales calls, chatbots, and surveys. So a lot of the stuff is going to be relevant with regards to the digital marketing, which is really where our expertise is, because it's the easiest way. It has the lowest barrier of entry for a company to kind of get their message out there and get in front of their customers. Essentially letting them know who you are, what you do, and how to get in contact with you. So here's how inbound marketing works. Number one, you want to establish yourself as a thought leader. Use content such as ebooks, like this document here. This is an ebook that we have put together. Articles, blog posts to build credibility and establish your business as the most knowledgeable in your industry. You really want to create that air of professionalism, and you want to be seen as a subject matter expert when you're reaching out to your clients, because people want to do business with people they trust, that they know, understand what they're talking about, and can help them solve their problems or achieve their needs. Number two, you want to form meaningful connections. The modern client wants to know just what they're dealing with actual people, and not just a faceless brand. Building connections with potential clients will make them more likely to continue doing business with you. It's really simple. People like to do business with people they know, that they trust, and that they have a real relationship with. The problem is there's so much competition out in the marketplace. How do you establish that trust and that relationship over the internet? How do you create something that's going to really kind of grab somebody's attention, shows them you know what you're talking about, and compel them to contact you so you can build that relationship with them? And the third thing we're going to talk about here is supporting clients past the buy stage. You want to find ways to engage with your clients after they have purchased your product or service. Ask yourself, are there additional resources such as videos related, white papers, social media, communities, etc., that you could share? What it is share your experiences, show people things that you have done, give them anecdotal stories, or have people do reviews, things like that. Really get the message out there that you are who you say you are, you understand your customers, and that it's more than just a one-time sale for you, that you're looking to build a lifetime relationship with your clients. So how do you implement an inbound sales strategy? So number one, you want to set a goal. You got to figure out what you want to accomplish, who you're targeting in your campaign, what industry research you need, and what industry research do you need to do. You really need to figure this stuff out, because if you go into a marketing program or even opening a business without any of these things laid out, it can really cost you a lot of money in the long run, because eventually you're going to have to figure it out, or it's going to cause you to fail. So this is number one. Have your goals in order, know who you're trying to reach, and figure out how to get there. And then get seen. Know your audience. This goes back to doing some research. Figure out what platforms your audience are using. Are they on Facebook? Are they on Twitter? Are they on the internet at all? Are they mostly doing inbound, like in-person expos or trade shows? Know your market, know your customers, know how they like to do business. Are there popular keywords you should use? What are the buzzwords in the industry? Are you speaking the same language as your customers? This is very important. And what is your call to action going to be? Are you trying to get people to call you? Do you want them to email you? Are you looking for them to connect with you through a social media platform? What is the action that you want that person to take? Is it as simple as you just want them to buy your product off your website? Those are all very valid ways, or valid calls to action. And those are things that you need to go when you're figuring out your inbound marketing campaign. Number three is to generate leads and customers. Do you need a special landing page for your offer? Do you want something that's going to pop and grab the attention of your client? Do you have a white paper or other download available? Are you in a tech-heavy industry? Is there something where when people are researching the type of products that you're selling or services that you're offering, where there is a lot of background information that that customer needs to know to make that decision? Well, that's where a white paper or a blog entry or anything that kind of explains more in depth than just a generic landing page would come into play. And how do you keep customers? How do you nurture those leads with follow-up? Because everything you do is going to have a cost. And if you're out there, you're implementing a marketing plan and you're spending thousands of dollars, what is your return of investment on that initial investment? Like, how are you getting that money back? How are your salespeople or yourself, if you're a single person operation, how are you nurturing those leads and really getting the most benefit from those marketing dollars that you spent? What else can you offer them? And then evaluate your success. The best way to do that is to go back to your goals and see if you've met your goals that we talked about in the first step. So here's some resources to implement an inbound strategy. Number one, have a goal tracking system. You want to be able to judge the effectiveness of your marketing strategy. You need to implement a goal tracking system, such as a spreadsheet, an integrated CRM, Google Analytics, or Webmaster tools, or some combination of those things. I mean, spreadsheets are a little old school, but maybe it's a system that works for your business and it is the most efficient way. Really like CRMs because it keeps people honest. It lets you know that you're doing the correct amount of follow-up and you can really see what sort of activity is going on. Things like Google Analytics or Webmaster tools really let you see, is your website working? Are you getting the sort of traffic that you need? And what is your conversion rates? Things like that. Those are all very important pieces. Number two, buyer persona and personality sheets. You really need a clear idea of exactly who you are selling to. It's a good idea to create a semi-fictitious representation of your target demographic. Some examples are Marketing Mary, Student Steve, etc. And keep them in mind when you're creating your campaign. This is the person that I'm trying to reach, and these are the sorts of things that speak to them, and this is the tools I'm using to implement those talking points to reach that specific customer base. Number three, have an editorial camera or a calendar. This is to help you keep track of the content you're posting. Creating an editorial calendar with ideas, deadlines, etc. will help you keep on track. And then a social media calendar as well. Similar to an editorial calendar, this functions to keep track of ideas, posts, etc. for your social media marketing campaigns, which are essential. And it also allows you to kind of glean some metrics and see if those campaigns are working or if they're not working and what you could possibly change to make them work even better. So now we're going to kind of switch to outbound marketing. And this is where your internal reps or yourselves are kind of going out there trying to reach your customers directly without the passive things that inbound marketing tends to rely on. Outbound marketing refers to any kind of marketing where a company initiates the conversation and sends the message out to an audience. Essentially, outbound marketing is what is considered traditional marketing by many. Here are some examples of outbound marketing: email blasts, TV, radio ads, display ads, cold calling, trade shows, expos, and conferences. This is really where you've got your salespeople are out there, they're smiling and dialing. You're trying to talk directly to your customer and not just hope they kind of stumble along and contact you. You're initiating that conversation. How do you implement an outbound strategy? Well, number one, again, it's going to be similar to the inbound strategy. The few slight tweaks. So number one, you want to set your goals. Know what you want to accomplish. Who are you targeting in your campaign? And that goes back to your Marketing Mary or Student Steve. You want to go back to those ideal customers and figure out how to target them. And what industry research do you need to do? Then number two, you want to create your budget. How much capital do you have available to spend on the campaign? And how much of that budget are you willing to spend on each platform? And a lot of that's going to come back to some of this research that you've done through the process and know where your customers are at, which platforms they're using, so you're not throwing good money after bad and wasting time and energy on something that's not going to work. And then you want to get seen. So choose which platforms you're going to use. Are you going to do direct mail, email blast, pay-per-click ads, text blast? Figure out what's working with your competition. Where are you seeing them advertise? What is the best? Where are your customers at? Again, we're going to keep going back to that. Really know where they're at, especially in the digital environment, and how you can reach them. Especially in cannabis, the pay-per-click ads are tricky. You have to word things a certain way. You have to work within the algorithms, and a lot of companies, they have this fear of reputational risk. So they will shut you down if you're not compliant with their regulations for their advertising guidelines. And then evaluate your success. Again, go back to that goal setting. Did you meet the goals you set in the first step? Resources to implement an outbound strategy. Again, have a goal tracking system. To be able to judge the effectiveness of your marketing strategy, you need to implement a goal tracking system, such as a spreadsheet, an integrated CRM system, or Google Analytics and Webmaster Tools. And that's verbatim what we said the first time. So that's the beauty of it. Those tools work whether it's inbound or outbound marketing. Those are things that are very important and just allow you to keep track of those metrics, which will help you drive more business and grow your bottom line. And content. So the most essential part of an outbound marketing program campaign is the content you will be putting out, whether it is a commercial that will require scripts, filming, editing, and more, or a series of blog posts. The content you generate needs to not only match your goal, but also your company's brand image. It's very important. You want consistent messaging across your message and your goal and your brand. You really want things to be cohesive, so they match up and are in line with one another. So you're sending consistent messages to your customer. Remember, the quality of the content, depth of knowledge, design, and professional appeal will directly reflect on your company. And again, an editorial calendar to keep track of the content that you're posting. Creating an editorial calendar with ideas, deadlines, etc. will help keep you on track. That way you're not reposting redundant things, you're changing and you're keeping up with the times, as well as it allows you to plan out advanced marketing strategies in advance. So what are the differences? So now that we've discussed inbound and outbound marketing separately, it's important to consider the differences between the two. Inbound marketing. Inbound marketing is when a marketer is creating content that helps potential customers find you and your business. For example, this can be done through engaging blog posts that are full of optimized keywords. So when a prospective client searches one of those terms, your company appears. And this is also known as search engine optimization. And this is really important. When you're out there, you want people to find you. You're not directly reaching out to them. You're not emailing them or calling them directly. You want them to find you, hopefully, sort of naturally. They're looking for a similar product or service to one that you provide. You want them to be able to find you on the internet. And again, in outbound marketing is when you are reaching out with a specific piece of content that might not change from platform to platform. For example, a television commercial or online display ad are standard types of outbound marketing, where the content and ad itself is meant to engage a wider range of individuals as opposed to a specific market or demographic. So what are the benefits? Now that we've discussed inbound and outbound marketing separately, we can examine the individual benefits of each strategy. Inbound marketing, it builds trust and credibility with your audience. is a reduced cost and has a higher return on investment and works better with younger audiences. If people find you on the internet and they're intrigued enough to click on your website or to contact you, there's a higher level of trust because they trust themselves more than they trust anybody, and they found your company and it was compelling enough to get them to call you. Outbound marketing. This allows for immediate results and strategic targeting of the vertical or the demographic that you're trying to reach. It can cast a wider net and reach customers you did not know who maybe didn't fit your ideal customer, allow them to bring them into the fold. And it works a little better with older audiences because they're more comfortable with those traditional forms of marketing. And why should you work with an agency on your strategy? Number 1 is expertise. 2 is resources. And 3 is industry experience. An agency, when you work with an agency, they can offer the combined specialized knowledge of their team who work day in and day out with marketing campaigns. They have a wide breadth of customers who have implemented marketing strategies across an array of different industries, and they know the unique challenges and things that people are working with. And they might have worked with several other companies in the same vertical as you, so they kind of have an idea of who your ideal customer is, what works, what doesn't work, and how to reach those customers. Number 2 is resources. When you're working with an established agency, you gain access to industry-specific resources that an agency has access to. This can include special automation tools, press releases, distribution channels, a wide array of tools that would cost you a lot of time and money for you to invest in when these folks already have these tools in place and can utilize them at a lower cost for you, the customer. And number 3 is industry experience. Along the same lines as resources, an established agency not only has the experience creating content for various industries, but also can apply that experience to new projects. Importance of choosing the right agency. Implementing these strategies yourself or choosing an agency to help develop and implement your marketing strategy can be vital to your campaign success. Here's some potential pitfalls. Low follow through and loss of leads. That's costing you money right there. Lack of quality content and damaged reputation. If your website looks terrible, you don't have up-to-date information, your content is not working, not being seen, and is not updated, people are just not going to come back and visit your site or not buy into your marketing campaigns because you're not on the bleeding edge. You don't have the latest and greatest information. Your website is hard to navigate. Things have changed. Laws have changed, especially in cannabis. It's in a constant state of flux because it is such an emerging industry. You really want to be on top of these things. But as a business owner, it's almost impossible to be. That's why you need a partner to kind of go out there and help you with these things. So let's talk about a little bit of low follow through and loss of leads. Responsiveness is vital to a campaign success. If you don't have time after the program is launched, or if you are working with an agency that does not put an emphasis on timely follow through, it can damage your reputation and cause leads to seek out other solutions with your competition. And I'm sure you've all had this experience where you see a great advertisement or marketing campaign, you go to contact the company, and either A, they don't answer their phones, or B, they don't respond to an email, and you have no one to talk to. Well, what do? You're not going to wait around an hour or 2 hours. You're going to initially go out and go to the next listing and contact that company. So this is the initial company's campaign did all the work, but it's the next company, just because they didn't follow through, will get the business. That's why you need a partner on your side who can do some of the heavy lifting for you so you can focus on your customers and not on the marketing campaign itself. Lack of quality content. When it comes to content, quality always outweighs quantity. Finding the time and people to do it right is critical, and working with an agency that produces poor content will cause your business to lose market standing and authority. If your content's old and outdated, doesn't make sense anymore, doesn't work anymore, your customers are going to see through it. They've already done a ton of research. They've looked at all your competition. They're doing the research because they're looking for a product or service that you offer. So they're looking at everybody, and it's at their fingertips, especially on the internet. So if you're not up to date, up to speed, the quality, the navigation of your website isn't good, you're going to lose customers. And finally, damaged reputation. Ultimately, trying to do it yourself without enough availability or working with the wrong agency can hurt your company's reputation, which will make it harder to earn new business moving forward. Make sure you do your research. If you know that you don't have the bandwidth to do a complex marketing campaign, you don't really know how to figure out what people you're trying to reach or the metrics or the tools that you need to use to reach those customers, you can do more damage than good and throw a lot of money away. The same if you hire the wrong agency. Make sure you know the agency. Make sure that they have experience in the space that you're working in. There's a lot of companies out there that can build websites, but there's not a lot of website developers that also do marketing, or there's not a lot of website companies out there that understand the complexities of the cannabis or CBD or hemp markets, where it's different from a traditional market. So make sure that you're working with companies that understand those things, the unique challenges that you have in your business, so you are not wasting valuable time and money that can ultimately end up damaging your brand. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can reach us at sales@emergingindustryprofessionals.com or call us directly at 810-547-1349. Now I'm going to go back and see if there's any questions in the Q&A. I'm going to give everyone a few minutes. I know I kind of ran through that quick. If there's any questions, please feel free to enter them in the chat. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. If they're really complex, I can take them offline and reach out to you that way. Again, thank everyone for your time. Well, if there's no questions, please feel free to contact me. My name is Mike Gallagher. I'm Sales and Marketing Manager at Emerging Industry Professionals. Again, you can reach us at 810-547-1349. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a wonderful day.